Alright, hey everybody. Today I want to talk about why I think that Overwatch 2 is the biggest failure in gaming. So there are a lot of good reasons for this, I think, and some of the reasons are monetization, bad character design, layoffs, bad balancing, lack of content, and then like not being able to follow through promises. So 5v5, there's a lot of problems, which we'll get into separately. These are kind of the main topics I'd like to talk about. Also, before we get started, I would kindly ask that you, before you get your torches and pitchforks and you come right at my front door, that you listen to what I have to say, and then you can give me your opinion afterwards, after I've laid out all the ideas and why I think this game's a failure and whatnot. And also, as much as I hate the state of where this game is and where it's been for the past few years, I genuinely want the best for this game because I love this game. This was my it wasn't my childhood, but I grew up playing this in my high school and whatnot after work. I will say how I think we can fix this, and I want to talk about how we got to where we are. All right. Now I got it out of the way. Let's get into it. So first off, why do I think this game compared to other games is a big failure? I can hear people. I think people would be saying like, wouldn't Concord be a bigger fail than Overwatch 2? Which yes, $400 million and 8 years of work or 10 years and flopping immediately. That's a pretty damn big fall. That's probably one of the biggest falls as well. But Overwatch 2, when it came out in 2016, Overwatch 1, I guess you could say, it was Game of the Year, it was loved, and then eventually they kind of abandoned it, brought us Overwatch 2, and then they failed everything that they tried to promise with it, you know? So compared to like Concord, who never had anything, Overwatch was a amazing big game, and they just threw it in the trash and burned it alive, you know? So that's why I think it's like a bigger failure of a Concord kind of thing. Hopefully that makes sense, because I get that there's other games that have failed, but I think this game was a bigger failure thing because it was good and then it aggressively failed, if that makes sense. Another thing that I should probably mention that's important that we should probably start with is that my history about this game. When I got this game and started playing it, it was before role queue, it was open queue. I mainly played DPS, I played like Cassidy, I played Hanzo, Junkrat, Reaper, loved those four characters mainly. And I played tank as well, I played a bunch of Reinhardt and Roadhog. Thought they were fun too. The next point that I want to talk about is what made Overwatch 1 great. So the reason why I got hooked into this game is a mix of three things, I believe. Characters, the lore, and the gameplay. These three attributes of the game, I think, what made it stand out. The characters, so as they are, compared to other games, they're amazing. They have their own unique look, their own unique personalities. It's fantastic. I love it. Gameplay? No. While you can argue some of the gameplay came from like TF2, I still think it's solid, it flows good. It's a fun, fast-paced game for the most part, or at least at that time. And then the lore was expansive. Like, it touched on Junkrat and Roadhog in Australia, and then it talked about Farah and being an Anubis jailer or guard or whatever it was. I thought it was a cool thing. You can get immersed into these characters and their backstories, and then the trailers with it, or the cinematics, like the Dragons one and the Honor and Glory, those are badass. I remember watching those the first time. They were like, wow, this is pretty cool. I like this, you know? And the thing is with this game is that even if you didn't like playing the game, you could love the characters and the lore. Like my buddy of mine, he likes the lore more than he liked the game itself, even though he played the game. And vice versa. Even if you don't like the lore, you can still love the gameplay and whatnot. So these things mesh together and make you fall in love with the game at the time. So now we got Overwatch 1 down, let's talk about when and why they switched to Overwatch 2.
Hello, I like money.
What inspired you to build a second Krusty Krab right next door to the original?
Money.
So in Overwatch 2, they added new characters with Junker Queen and Sojourn, I believe. They added new maps, a new game mode. They did character reworks. They made it free to play. They added a new really bad rank system. They removed being on fire, and they removed borders. And also the biggest thing, they went from 6v6 to 5v5. Fun fact though, the being on fire system they took out, they released back in quote-unquote content for Season 5, so that's pretty cool. And the new rank system at the time was not like that at all, so they changed it and made it better, and today it's actually not terrible. So, that's good at least. And they also, when they went to free-to-play, they removed loot boxes, sorry. And they replaced it with, like, this new monetization system, which I think is a pretty big failure, personally, in terms of scummy marketing. And we'll get to that as well. Even though it makes them a lot of money, that's why games go to free-to-play a lot. Another thing is, the push game mode they added, I did not like that game mode. I don't like it still. I think it's just a worse version of Control. There's not really a reason to have it, but it's in the game, too bad for me. And a bunch of the new maps too, as cool as they looked, like they weren't. Most of them weren't good. They were really complained about. Circuit Royale, Midtown, Horatio, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Like these maps were like the maps they added were not good, even though they all looked great, but they just didn't play well. They were all long corridors where Widow and snipers, which are annoying to play against, kind of just destroyed you, you know? And then speaking of the characters, they've reworked a lot of characters. I'm going to go through some of the good ones and the bad ones that have happened up until this day. Some of the good reworks I think happened were Bastion and Mei. I think Bastion's rework is probably one of the best. The only problem I don't really like about him is looks it feels really inconsistent. I like the old ult better, but overall I like Bastion's like new change in design. And Mei, the thing that changed about her was that instead of you like getting frozen and headshot and you couldn't do anything, it was very frustrating. Now you just don't freeze people, you just do damage over time, which I like that change as well. Now we go into the bad reworks, so this might be a little controversial. So they swapped Doomfist from a DPS to a tank. And the problem with Overwatch 1 Doomfist was that when he was a DPS, it was very frustrating because he'd charge up his fist, he'd hit you, and he'd one-shot you. He had a very high skill ceiling. But you could counter him with CC, like a flash grenade or something. And now that he's a tank, he has the same kind of problem that he had before. But now he just has more health, you know? He takes a lot of skill to play, don't get me wrong. But when you get like a charge gauntlet and you hit someone against the wall, you basically one-shot him. It's very frustrating to play against. He's got great movement. His ultimate's still kind of mid, honestly. But, I mean, it's better now because you get healed in the air. You heal like all 500 of your HP. It's kind of nutty. But the point I'm trying to make is that he still has the same problems he had, but now it's just more frustrating to deal with than me. Especially when you get one shot and you feel like, oh, I just destroyed him. I did 300 damage to him and he's not even half health. You know, and then you still get one shot because you can't do anything about it, you know? Unless you have CC, which they also removed CC and they brought it back because they realized that they needed it. So that's cool, I guess. Another rework that happened was Sombra. They've reworked the character like 3 or 4 times and she's still frustrating to play against. So that's how that goes. They reworked Roadhog and they basically just gave him a trap. Yeah, they gave him a trap, that's pretty much it. And they made it to where they kind of combined his left and right click into one button. I thought that wasn't a good change, honestly. I kind of like the idea of you alternate between the two. But I digress, it's already happened. And Roadhog's still at the same problem of now he can one-shot people. He can still just one-shot people. And he's got a lot of health, and he just takes a breather and he's fine, you know? Another character that they reworked was Orisa. This character, if you've ever played against the character, she's so frustrating, it's sad. You get hard CC'd, like 3 abilities, and then she's like an immovable, unkillable wall. It sucks. Everyone knows the story of Orisa. Pharah was also reworked as well. It was probably the more recent one, besides the new Sombra kind of rework, that I actually think is probably the best version of her, but still. Pharah one, you just don't need you shouldn't have buffed this character. She's already a problem in herself, in my opinion, which we'll get into. But they did too much, I think, to her. She didn't need a rework. I don't know why they did it, but anyway. So with also the bad reworks, and stuff they've done, they've also just had bad character designs, in my opinion. So the newest one that was added was Junker Queen, which she was kind of weak when she was released. I remember that, and they buffed her, and she absolutely sucks to play against. I don't know why people hate on her. I mean, like her and then hate on Roadhog. Because they do the same thing where they pull you in and you can't do anything because you just got pulled in, so you get killed. Yeah, it sucks. I also feel like Roadhog's easier to punish because he only has the one take a breather and you can cancel it and kill him before he has another chance to do it, but that's just me, I guess. The next character was Sojourn, as we've said. She was just a better Widowmaker / Hanzo, and she had movement with a kind of a busted ult, where she could one-shot you, and when she was damaged, it was so frustrating. And they took so long, I remember they took so long to nerf the damn character. And she's still pretty dang good, and they're shadow buffing her with that new. But when it damages people, it gives more charge. I think it's dumb. It's gonna be power creep, and she's gonna be power crept up just like every other character is in this game. But anyway, the next character, probably one of the most controversial characters, I think, is Kiriko. She had Suzu. She was a better DPS. She had another get out of jail free card with a teleport. Best ult in the game. Has been one of the best supports in the game since she was released. Not nerfed. And she's now like the poster girl, kind of like Tracer was of the game. And damn, she sells some skin, that's why. We'll get into that too. But dang, she is so annoying and just poorly designed, it's not even funny. And then Ram was released, Ramatra. He's probably my favorite design character in this game, honestly. I think he works very well, and in a 6v6 environment, I feel like he'd be really cool. But they have left him in the dust, of course, because all the good characters and the neat characters they just leave him to die, so. Then Live Weaver was released. His life grip is not healthy. that is just very frustrating. Even if he's not good, it's annoying to play against, which I think is bad. Really cool aesthetic, though. I like his streak of life. Then you got Ilari. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but sorry, I'm doing my best. She's a better DPS than some of the DPS. Has the most annoying and frustrating pylon thing in the game. A CC boop and a fantastic DPS ultimate. Yeah, I wonder why that's an annoying character to play against. Then you got Malga. This is the worst character I've ever seen be made ever. I don't know how this passed a BR team. This was a hype character that was like, same with Ramacha, they were like teased like a long time ago, and they're finally released. Malga is just awful. I don't know how you fix that character, honestly. I'm sure you've all seen the clip of the two Malgas go up together and they just don't die. I'll play the clip if you haven't seen that. Yeah, that's Malga for you. Stupid character design. And then after Malga, you have Venture, who I think is kind of like old Doomfist, where you just felt so helpless at times if they were, like, there was so little counterplay you could do to them. Where they dive at you, they shoot you in melee and you're dead, you just can't do anything unless you have a CC. It's really annoying, you know? They've also haven't given this character a skin since Season 10 when they released. They're gonna get one, Season 14. Wow, crazy. Four seasons to get a damn skin. Isn't that just crazy? And then after that, you have Juno and Hazard. These two characters I genuinely think are really well designed, and I'm happy they're going in this direction where they actually make interesting character designs. I'm very happy with Juno and Hazard. The problem I have with Hazard is that I don't really like how he looks 100%. I like his voice actor. I like all the characters' voice actors. But he kind of looks like Malga, Sigma, and Orisa meshed together, kind of. Just from his design, not his ability design, but like just how he looks in general. And he's kind of like the first character I don't 100% really like that much, but we haven't looked too much into him yet. The trailer made him look way worse than he actually is. Another thing to add about this is that before Overwatch 2, they added really kind of busted characters. Like Sigma was overkitted. They added Batiste and his immortality. So they have not had a good track record of these characters. But the two recent ones have actually been doing pretty good, so I'll give them credit to that. But what I think they should do is they should go back and fix some of these characters. I have some solutions. So, Batiste, I think his immortality, when you throw it out, it shouldn't be instant. It should have like a 1.5 or 2 second like timer where it goes do-do-do-do and then it pops up. So you have to like either A, predict stuff, or B, you have to time it, you know? It's not just like a pump and dump and you're good kind of thing, you know? I think that'd be kind of good. I think BAP's life, or immortality is probably the least of the annoying things in the game to me, but it's still frustrating at times. And then another character like Life Weaver, he's kind of just a numbers character, but the life grip, for example, I think it'd be better if, like, you have to aim it, like it doesn't just instantly pull someone, you shoot it out, and if it hits somebody, it pulls them in. That's my kind of thing. Like, it'll obviously show you where you're gonna aim, but, like, you gotta actually, like, time it, you know? I think that'd be kind of cool. It's just not like an instant, well, pow, you did nothing kind of thing, you know what I mean? I'm sure if I think about it more, I'm sure I can find like a Kiriko Suzu kind of change or something. But those are just two of the main things I thought of for fixing the characters. I don't know 100% of that fix all their problems, but it could be a good step, you know? So that's all the character things I want to talk about. Now I want to talk about maps. So, I think a problem is that they have too many modes right now. So I think Push and Flashpoint absolutely suck to play. Clash is actually kind of fun. I actually kind of like Clash and how it is. I think they need to make more maps though, for especially Flashpoint and Clash, because there's only 2 of each. And I think before we make, I don't think we honestly need to make any more game modes, because they're all kind of the same thing pretty much. Like Control Point and Flashpoint are the same thing, but instead of you go to a whole new round, you're in the same map, and so you just go to your left and go to the new point. It's the same thing to me, you know? And Clash is the same thing as Control 2, because it's just capture this, go forward, and capture the next one, you know? It's the same principle, you know what I mean? Another problem, though, with the maps, though, I feel like is a lot of these maps aren't that good to me anymore. I remember King's Row and Icon were like the best 2 maps in the game to play on when you were in Overwatch 1. That was just like, everybody loved those maps. I don't know if it's those maps themselves or if it's the 5v5 format we're going to get to that have changed them, because they weren't made for that 5v5 format. They were made for 6v6, which is why maybe that they don't work in this, but I feel like they definitely need to fix some of these maps. or maybe we can try 166 and see if that works, because that's coming back. So maybe that'll fix it. I have no idea. Maybe it's just my perception. Maybe it's just Widow's annoying and broken. But I don't know. There could be a lot of factors that play into this that I haven't like maybe gauged and thought out all the way. So now we talked about maps, kind of. I don't know how well I did that, but hopefully it's all right. Some other little things that suck about the game that I want to talk about are quick play penalties for leaving. This is stupid. It's quick play. Nobody should care. What happens when you make it to where people can't leave? People throw the games because they can't leave, so the match ends faster. And that makes the experience worse for the other people than having just someone leaving and a new one. Unintended consequences, unfortunately, but yeah, that sucks. Remove that. Another thing, a guy got banned a while back for saying in text chat, I think, to his friend, and he got banned from his college and he lost his scholarship or something like that. That's stupid. That's hypocritical. Cassidy has BAMF on his buckle and Tracer says wanker. Like, that's dumb. It should be uniform. You can't just be one way for your own game and one way for a different person talking. It's not like he called him a slur. Slurs are bad. I get if he said a slur, but he didn't. Another thing that's just about this game, though, is power creep. It has to do with the balance, where they don't balance well, and they give little micro buffs to characters. And that happens with Tank mainly, where they're like, oh, Maga, we need to buff Maga. He's just, everyone loves to play against this character, and he's just not doing good. He doesn't, 50% win rate, that's terrible. I want 60%, gives him a little 4-second incendiary buff. Come on, man. Stupidity at its finest. And there was that whole time where, it's not just tanks, like, remember there was a time where supports were so overtuned from power creep that it sucks so bad to play not support. Because whatever you did just got negated by healing, you know? And then this also happens in DPS. An example would be Cassidy. Like, 275, his mana grenade's actually pretty cool. Great damage, a lot of health, roll does 50% negation, his ultimate got buffed and is crazy now. He has so much health, like he has so much now, he's power crept to the moon. It's kind of ridiculous. Another thing, roll passives are not healthy for the game. That sucks. The DPS roll passive has changed like 3 times. And tanks have like 1 million of them to make it kind of feel better even though it sucks to play still. It's stupid, that shouldn't be in the game. Another thing, Season 9 health pool increases need to be reverted as a bad change. Because inconsistencies in killing make the game bad too. Great example is Hanzo. I like to play Hanzo a lot. And so if I pull back the thing, like my bow, shoot an arrow, one-shot that guy. But I don't one-shot the Cassidy because he has 275, don't one-shot the Symmetra. So there's 4 characters I can't one-shot for some reason now. So that's cool. But I can one-shot everybody else that's not a tank. Inconsistencies, that sucks to feel, that sucks to play against and feels awful, I'm telling you. If you've ever felt that. And this is another recent thing, actually. I hope other people hear about this. So, lack of promises. And a great example I'm going to bring up is Mythics. So, with the Battle Pass, you were supposed to have a DPS Mythic skin, which was Genji, and then it was a tank, so it was Jungle Queen, then it was support, which is Kiriko. It's supposed to be like the 3 in a row kind of thing, you know what I mean? But recently, we've gotten 3 DPS skins in a row. If I'm not mistaken, it's Ashe, Reaper, and then Widowmaker, which is this season, Season 13 Widowmaker. That shouldn't be that shouldn't be it, man. That's so dumb. And if from Flats said this, I watched him say this. I don't know if this is 100% true. I'm not blaming Flats. This is not like his fault or anything. But he said from a developer that it takes a year, at least a year, to make these skins. Like the Mythic skins. So they've known for a year that they're going to have 3 DPS Mythic skins in a row. They've known this. That's stupid. That's frustrating as hell. Like, it shouldn't just be DPS skins, you know? And then one more little thing. No Venture Legendary skin till Season 14? Really? 4 seasons for a Legendary skin? That's... oh my gosh. It's like you guys just take a gun and shoot yourselves in the foot. So those are some of the minor reasons. I'm gonna get to the major reasons now. I have, I believe, 4 or 5. I'm only like halfway through the script that I wrote down, so... Alright, so the first major reason why this game failed. The PvE. I know, I know everybody knows that the PvE went down. I know, but I have to bring it up. It's kind of an overall history of Overwatch and why I think it's failing, so I had to bring this into it, you know? So, basically, if you don't know, the reason why Overwatch 2 was kind of promised was PvE. I might not have said that in the beginning, but I'm sure most of you knew that already. So in Overwatch 1, we waited 3 years. Overwatch 1 was kind of left in the dust for it to work on this PvE for like 3 years. And then we had to wait when Overwatch 2 came out, they pushed it back, and they pushed it back, and they pushed it back. Then they canceled it. They had it done, and they scrapped it. And dude, I'll tell you what, this was sadder than the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. This was just a sad, sad thing that happened, man. The game got review bombed, and people were just mad. I was mad too. It was so disappointing because that meant that everything that we had waited for was nothing. It's essentially like I tell you, oh, you're going to prison for 5 years, and then after 5 years, you're like, the judge just tells you, oh, you never actually had to go. We didn't have any evidence, so all those 5 years are for nothing. Like that's terrible. You know how much trust you'll break from that? Another thing about that PvE thing is that I know people that don't like to talk about it, that we've already shamed them enough. But when you make a mess up that big, you have to keep reminding them so they don't forget. Because they'll do it again, they will. They'll make the same mistakes again with these big things. And if you don't keep hammering it to them, they're just gonna ignore it and they're gonna redo the same thing, you know? So after the PvE was scrapped, after they made it and they scrapped it, they used the PvE to make the leftover stuff of it to make the Junkenstein's Revenge mode. People will complain about the mode was just, oh, it's just a reskin PvE, oh. That wasn't the problem I had with this mode. This leads to another issue that I have with the game. Not only was that mode ruined by RNG, but they put in the mode characters that aren't healthy and fun for the game. A great example is Tank. They put Orisa, D.Va, and Reinhardt. Nobody likes to play against Orisa. It sucks. Imagine you want to play Reinhardt and they go Orisa. You cannot switch. 3 matches. Sucks. 3 matches of playing Ryan into Orisa. Terrible. And then DPS had the same thing where they had a Pharah and you could have Mercy on your team. But if you wanted to play Reaper and they went far, you couldn't switch. Have fun trying to kill a Pharah in the sky, you know? Like, it's just dumb. They don't understand that characters need to be bad in this game. They don't understand it. Some examples of characters that shouldn't be good in the game are Pharah, Sombra, Roadhog, Venture, Doomfist, Lifeweaver, Morgan, and there's probably a few more. Those are just some main examples that come to mind. The philosophy I have with this is characters that make you switch to something you don't want to shouldn't be very good at the game. Pharah is a great example. You have to go a hit scan most of the time. Like if it's a Pharah Mercy, you pretty much have to go to a hit scan. At least you used to. Maybe you don't now as much, but I still usually have to go to a hit scan. And if I'm playing Junkrat, and I love playing Junkrat, the odds of me killing Pharah out of the sky are like 0 to none. There's a chance you can, and it feels great. But you're still at a huge disadvantage, you know? So you're most likely going to get yelled at to go switch to a hit scan. Hopefully that kind of reasoning makes sense. Like, when you play against Orisa as well, that's a great example where she shouldn't be good because she has the worst characteristics, CC and unable to be killed, along with huge mitigation and everything you can think of, put in the one kit. It's frustrating. This is the problem of power creep with these characters as well. Because Malga, after Malga meta, I didn't play Malga meta, but I heard the pores of Malga meta when he was released. And it was awful. They don't learn their lesson as well, but they give buffs to him. And then he's great again, and it sucks. It's stupid. I can't drive this home enough. Some characters should be bad in the game. Moira's a great example as well. I didn't even think about that. I'll just know. You put low skill, it's low skill. You don't have to put any effort to aim in. So you shouldn't be rewarded heavily. Unlike Hanzo. If you're able to hit those shots and you hit those headshots, you should be rewarded for it. But you should also have drawbacks to it, you know? And also, paired with that, they have a terrible balancing team. Like, it's a little better with how often they do it, I guess, now. But some of the changes are just awful. And Overwatch 1, they had terrible balancing, too. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, I want to talk about another thing. Lack of content. So, especially this season, this is a great example of this, too. A lot of this the content, in quotes, that they add is skins. And skins are not content. I'm sorry, that's not content. Maybe if you give something for free and you can earn it, like an incentive to go earn something, that's content. But merely putting, oh look at this shiny pedestal, look you can get the new god angel skin. Ooh, that's not content. Especially if you don't play a character that has a skin for it. That's not content, I'm sorry. And then they flood the shops also with recolors that suck for full price. Apparently they're changing that. It's not as expensive, but still, it's kind of lazy. And then they also have a lack of lore and cinematics. If you don't know, a lot of the team has gotten laid off, and we'll get into that as well. So, the new cinematics are really poor. Honestly, the animation's terrible. I hate the animation for the new Hazard cinematic. And with these lack of content, like with the skins, leads to the monetization system. This monetization system is scummy as hell. Now, am I gonna sit here and say it's the worst? No. Apex Legends has the worst monetization system ever with the heirlooms and stuff. The $196 heirlooms or whatever. Stupidity at its finest. But the lesser of two evils doesn't mean one thing is not evil, so you know what I mean? And the fun fact, originally they had characters in battle passes, but people complained so much that it got taken out and they reverted this. And they also had fake discounts, which are illegal. Basically, at this time, that they would put like there would be one really cool skin that everybody would like, and then they put two other skins that nobody cared about, and they'd be like, "You're saving 60% Black Friday deal. You're saving," even though you couldn't buy them anywhere else. So technically, you weren't saving anything because you didn't have the ability to. That's illegal, by the way. And then I think the scummiest part about this monetization system is the mythic prisms. And recolors too. But mythic prisms I think are a lot worse. So a trick that people use and expect a lot of like companies do this, but it's called FOMO. It's fear of missing out. And it makes you feel like, oh, it's a limited time. I have to. Oh, if I don't get this, people are gonna laugh at me. Oh, I'm gonna feel not good and not as good as other people. So they make you feel like you need to buy this, and then they overcharge so much on it, and they make profit because this works really well, believe it or not. And the thing that made Mythic Prisms like bad to me, they added the shop, like the whole Mythic shop, so you can get past skins now, which I don't think that's a problem. The problem I have is that there's so many now where the only like good deal is the battle pass, $10, and you can get a Mythic thing. It's pretty good, but you can only get one. If you want more than one, you're gonna have to buy $80 worth of $80 of prisms to get that skin. That's not worth it at all. And what a great example also is like, let's say you didn't get that Genji skin from Season 1. So now you have to decide, do I want the Genji skin or do I want the Reaper skin? So let's say you want the Genji skin, you buy the Genji skin. Now you have to wait 3 months to get that Reaper skin. Or you can pay $80 for that Reaper skin. It's one of the two options. There's no in between. You pick one of those two. And let's say next season, you wait till next season, and they're like, oh, this is the best skin ever. And it's a beautiful, you want the Widow skin. But now you have to choose whether you want the Widow skin or the Reaper skin. And so basically you just have this infinite loop where you want one, but you can't get it unless you spend $80. That's predatory as hell. That's awful. That bothers me. And another thing that bothers me is gilded aspects. Who would ever buy gilded aspects? You are just delulu if you spend money on this. They're just doing whatever they can to get money. They're just vacuuming all the money out of your wallet as much as they can. Another thing that they do is pretty scummy. This isn't just Overwatch, of course. It's called the decoy effect. They make you feel like you're getting a better deal, and this is what they want you to buy. A great example of this is McDonald's French fries. If you ever ordered McDonald's, you know, like the medium fry and the large fry, it's 40 cents for the upgrade. You're like, it's not a lot of money. So you upgrade it because you feel like you're getting a better deal. But in reality, they want you to buy that big one. Another example is the My Hero skins that came out recently. If you want, let's say you want the Shigaraki skin and you want the Reinhardt skin, you don't want the other two, or the other three, whatever it was. What they do is, instead of paying $50 for those two skins, you could pay $57 and get everything. And you're like, oh, that's a great deal. What is this beautiful deal? And then you buy it, but they want you to buy that because that makes them the most money. You see what I mean? It's very predatory. And I fell for this, which I'll get into in a little bit. But it's there. It's scummy. It's okay. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Another problem with this kind of monetization system is that skins are not made and given out equally. Now, this makes sense from a business perspective, alright? Business-wise, this makes a lot of sense. There's a reason why Zarya doesn't have a lot of skins, because they don't sell well. It makes sense that Kiriko and girls like Mike Mercy, women. This isn't bashing women, obviously. This makes sense. This makes sense. Just if you think about it, women like to be cute, so women like to buy feminine women skins. You know, which I get. I get it. It makes complete sense. And this is why Mercy skins, women like the Mercy, like the cute Mercy skins. So that's why they keep recoloring the same Mercy skin, because the Mercy girls buy it. You know what I mean? Then Kiriko, like, Gooners buy it too. It's kind of sad and alarming, honestly. You know, buy whatever you want, I guess. I'm sure you've heard the joke, like, wow, Kiriko got another skin. I had 6 skins this season. Wow. Oof. You know? But people buy it. They buy it. That's why it happens. Even though you might not agree with it. From a business perspective, it makes complete sense. You want money. A side change that I want to talk about is that companies will do whatever they need to do to make profits. They do not care. Businesses do not care about you and how you feel. All they care about is money in their wallets. That's the only factor that goes into their things. A reason I bring this up is because I remember during the whole 5v5 and 6v6 debate, There were 5v5 people saying 66 will never come back. It's an irrelevant topic. Whether which side you were on when you won, I don't care. Pick which side, I don't care. The point was that it would never come back. But as you can see, that's kind of it's come back. But the point I'm trying to make is that businesses will change whatever they need to do to make money. So since 5v5 wasn't doing as well and people were complaining, they brought back 6v6. There's also a few more things we're going to get into later on that support this theory. But also another example would be shop skins. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if all of a sudden nobody was buying shop skins anymore, they would freak out and they would lower the prices. Because they don't have money, so they're going to have to change something. So they're going to change the money makers and lower the prices so people have an incentive to buy them. Companies will eventually listen if their profits fall. You can make things happen. You have the power to change things. That's the side tangent I want to go on. I want to make this clear. You are the reason this game exists. You have the power to control it. Now, everybody would have to go together and agree not to do this thing or boycott or whatever. But you have the power. I'm just telling you. That's how companies work. And now that I got that little side tangent out the way, we're gonna go to the boogeyman of this video. 6v6 versus 5v5. Or should I say 6v6 to 5v5 because it's kind of the switch they did from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2. Now this is a very scary subject that people don't like to talk about. It's a very touchy issue, I guess you could say. So let's start with why did they go from 6v6 to 5v5? Yeah, the first idea was queue times. Queue times are pretty long in Overwatch 1, to the point where they had priority pass. And the second thing was to give people feel like they're doing more, or more impact, as other people would say. Now this makes sense from a business standpoint. Like, if people can't play your game, they're not going to buy your skins, so you're not going to make money. And if people don't feel like they're doing an impact, they're not going to play the game too, so they're not going to make any money, you know? So, with the queue times argument, I would say that this has worked for quick play, but ranked queue times are just worse. Or, not always worse, but they're as bad, or if not worse. I've seen people wait an hour and a half to play ranked before. And also, I've waited 7 to 9 minutes to play a DPS and support queue. Like, it hasn't changed that much. And tank is still the same problem, where nobody wants to play it, so you have short queue times. Now I don't even want to play it. Like, those solutions haven't really been fixed 100% besides maybe a little bit in quick play, you know? Now, was 6v6 and Overwatch 1 this perfect angel could do no wrong? No, of course not. You had goats, you had double shield, and it wasn't good, it sucked. Now, the problem I feel like with this was the balance. Brigido, Batiste, too much sustain, fortification, signal release good, like, so many things piled up to where it just didn't feel as good to do it. Then they never tried to fix anything for like 3 years because they were working on PvE that got canceled. But instead of trying to fix it, they just like, let's swap the whole format to 5v5. That's genius, new marketing thing. Even though, according to Sam Mito, they tried this out and no one liked it and they sold it anyway accordingly. I don't know if it's 100% true, but I'm taking his word for it. Also, to make another point, another thing that they did, the problem was CC. They took it out, and then they added it back in. I want to show you a clip from, I believe, Season 5 that shows this perfect. Are you serious? What is this game? And yes, that is a clip of mine. I'm sorry about the Giat and stupid Peter meme. That just I thought it was funny. That's why I posted it like that. I didn't have the original clip because I got a new computer and I deleted old files and whatnot. But sorry. But hopefully that makes sense. There's still a problem with CC and whatnot these days. But now it's all CC'd on the one person side, 2 different people, you know? And so what are the problems with 5v5? Tank. The role is awful. Nobody wants to play it. It feels awful. And then the conundrum that you have is you either have one tank that's really good compared to the other one, so everyone has to face that tank and it sucks to play against, or every tank is alright, and so it's a counter-swap meta, which, as you said before, characters that make you switch off the character you like sucks to play against. That's why nobody plays it. The one tank thing also destroys character identities like Hammond. Like a Wrecking Ball, whatever you want to call him. I call him Hammond. Because you never have a perfect place for them where they're either going to be stupidly busted or they're going to be so bad there's not even a point to playing. And this is another main point that I'm trying to make of why I made this video. Why is 6v6 coming back? Alright, there are 4 factors that have this, that can be the reason, or multiple of these reasons, alright? First one, 5v5's failure. 2, lack of profits. 3, competition. Or 4, it's a coincidence that they're bringing 66 back at this time. For number 4, the answer is no, because companies don't like to admit they're wrong, and you think it's really a coincidence that instead of fixing it in 2 years, they just decide, let's do it now. Because, why not? No. Because competition. Competition like Marvel Rivals. This game has been on its own pedestal for a while, and Marvel Rivals seems like a good competitor. I'm not saying this game is perfect, I haven't played it yet, but it's pretty hype, I can't lie. And it's probably also a mix of lack of profits and 5v5 being a failure. They've gotten so much backlash, people have been quitting the game, people have crapped on this game, and the company itself. It's kind of sad where this game is now, because the lack of the big ego they have. And then lack of profitability is another major one that I want to talk about, because I've heard people say, like, there's no way profit. These people have got to make more money than you can know what to do with. Which is probably true, but people with profits don't fire their staff. They would have more staff so they can make more money off this stuff. That doesn't make sense at all, you know? If they were making profits, that was true that they were making so much money, you know? Hopefully I made that make sense, hopefully. And then another thing, the Overwatch Classic that came out, it just proves that the 5v5 method isn't good, you know? Like, I've seen the YouTubers play it, and you can see in their face that they're actually having fun. And people didn't quit for 3 years in 6v6, but people quit after 2 years or 1.5 years of 5v5. It's just, I'm sorry, it's just factual. That people like 6v6 more than 5v5 if they came from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2, I'm sorry. Well, the majority, not everybody, obviously, there's some outliers, but... And the thing that bothers me the most by far is that people who got the game for free only know 5v5, so they weren't accustomed to 6v6. You know? So now they're like kind of glued to it and they're used to it, so they like it more. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have to rely on teamwork as much. And that kind of bothers me. So the final conclusion of why I think Overwatch is a failure, Overwatch 2 is a failure, is because everything that they added was either A, taken away, B, fixed, or C, just replaced and ignored. A great example of the 5v5 format, 66 is coming. That was like the last thing it had, and now it's being outdone in Season 14. The quote of the people who work harder than the people who work on the game is so funny and true. Like, it's crazy, you know? But now that we've kind of dogged on the game, I'm going to tell you how to fix this game, alright? First off, remove the 2 in the game. Remove it. It's a symbol of that you suck. Get rid of it. That's my first formal thing to tell you to do. Get rid of the 2 in Overwatch 2, alright? Now, what you have to do is make sure the 6v6 playtest is done properly and fairly. I have hope that Aaron Keller does this properly, and I'm gonna hope that he really tries, alright? Another thing you need to do is you need to listen to your audience, alright? Without the audience, Blizzard, you are nothing. You are pixels on the screen that nobody likes to play, alright? You don't make money if you don't have people listening, alright? Another thing you should do, more collabs. The Overwatch community are huge anime nerds. I am being one of them. I love anime. You did the MHA collab. I see a freaking Uraraka Juno every goddamn match. So, I know you make a lot of money off these, you know? And you have Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer. You will make so much money that, like, it'll be draining out it'll be falling out your wallet, and you don't know what to do with it. Like Scrooge McDuck, you'll dive into a pile of dollars. Obviously, you can do more than anime, but anime is pretty good. You know, I think that's like a common thing a lot of people in this game like, you know? Another very important thing is you need to give out free things. You need to do events, you need to give out skins, you need to give players an incentive. An incentive could be, do this weekly challenge, and you get this cool skin for this neat event. There's a lot of things, you have so much potential with this IP and stuff. Like, you just have to do this. It's so simple, you have to just give incentives. An idea that I've had for a long time, alright, is competitive rewards. So my idea was that you have gold, ruby, emerald, and diamond, alright? You have these 4, and you reset everybody's competitive points in the being together, and what you would do is, you can upgrade each weapon, and you can upgrade each of the 4 paths however much you want, and put them on your gun. And then you can, like, upgrade it more, and you can make, like, Junkrat, you can have his tire be golden, his peg leg be golden, you can have all this stuff be golden, or diamond, whatever you want it to be, and maybe you make it animated. Or then you can buy competitive reward skins. You just have to add stuff people can play. There's so much you can do. I have so many ideas, and I'm just some stupid 20-year-old. Like, Another piece of advice: stop balancing based on numbers. There's a problem with like Reinhardt's an example, where Reinhardt was so weak and it sucks to play, but people in bronze thought he was the most broken thing ever because they don't know what they're doing. That's not how you should balance your game. You should balance your game about the intermediate level and higher, because bronze don't know what they're talking about. Another thing, you have to be open and transformative. You have to take risks. Risks are good. Risks are good, and try out new things. You need to be open and transformative with your audience. You need to tell them what you're doing. You need to tell them your ideas. See, Thieves does a pretty good job with this. It's a great example. You don't have to do like an hour-long podcast, but like a simple like news thing where, oh, this was our thought. We wanted to try and make Hazard green instead of purple. Like, you just gotta look at the things that you can do and be open about it and why you did stuff. And the final thing, alright? The final thing. You need to bring back experimental playtesting and creator-made things, and you need to take risks. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. You need to be out there. Now, when you do these risks, you can't take away things that are already there that people like. A great example is 6v6 to 5v5. You can't just take away 6v6 and give us 5v5 and try out a new thing, alright? Hopefully you learn from that mistake. But you can try new game modes and stuff. And make things wacky, make things fun. You have to give people new things, alright? Now, why is someone stupid like me telling $1 billion corporation this? Because I want the game to succeed, I want the old game back, and I want to have fun in this game again, alright? Alright, hi everybody. If you made it this far, I just want to say I honestly appreciate it a lot. I spent a lot of time on this video. It took me around 3 days to edit this, and it took me a long time to make a script that I actually enjoyed, and I just want to say thank you if you really made it this far. But I just want to tell you, as I'm currently recording this little clip, this is separate from all the other ones, I have gone through the video, and honestly, I don't think it's as good as I could have made it. I kind of go around a little bit, I skip around, I don't talk about all my points specifically. I don't go into detail about every single thing in some of the points like on 5v5, and I apologize for that. I'm already late on making this video, and it's 3 in the morning right now. It's supposed to be posted like 2 hours ago. So I'm already late, and I apologize that I couldn't make this as good as I wanted to. If this gets enough likes and views and whatnot, I'll probably go in and make a second part of this to clear up any problems. And also, I thought I'd just say, today is the Season 14 trailer came out, and it's absolutely disappointing. The Avatar collab is kind of mid, honestly. I think the skins are kind of mid. They even try to fit Kiriko in there. And then the Venture skin's very mediocre, probably even worse than mediocre. It's like a rare skin. They did a terrible job with that. And it's just nothing. There's no action, there's no love, there's no spice, there's nothing to even enjoy besides 66 playtest. And then Mobile Rivals is out today. This was like their one chance to actually kind of clamp back and have like a competitive chance, but if Mobile Rivals is good, then Overwatch is not going to be looking good. I'll just say that, alright? But yeah, I thought I'd just make this thing at the end, because I'm not 100% happy how this came out, and I apologize. And hopefully you still enjoyed it, hopefully you still understood some of my points, and hopefully you had fun and enjoyed what I was talking about. Maybe I even changed your opinion. Maybe you understood some of my points, maybe not, I don't know. But still, I just want to say thank you. I spent a lot of time on this, and I hope you have a great day, alright? See you next time. Bye, everybody.